every new expansion, the Zoroark believers wake up from their hibernation to huff a fresh smell of copium, and I'm going to try and spark those flames today. Because there are some interesting selling points from Paldea Evolved to possibly make Zoroark viable. Probably not, but still more interesting, and there are some selling points here. And really, it's reversal energy down here. Such a powerful card if we're behind on prize cards, and we attach this to an evolved Pokemon without a rule box, which is the whole deck, essentially, for attackers. We get 3 rainbow energies, essentially. So it allows us to change up the toolbox to have some more expensive attackers, and it actually works out fairly well, as well as these can just be attached as just regular colorless energies for our regular attackers like Flapple and Raichu, which only require 1 colorless, so just adds to our overall count. I'm also playing some jet energies, also really helpful, where we don't have to add in things that help us pivot. We can just have them as part of our energy count, which is really nice, so that we don't get trapped at different points. And we also have Super Rod and Artazon now, Artazon being a stadium card. We need to have some sort of stadium bounce, so we're not getting completely wrecked by Temple of Sinnoh, and this just adds to our overall counts so that we can get our basic Pokemon developed, and Super Rod means that we're not forced into Clara plays to continue to reload our Zoroark. So there are some genuine buffs for this archetype from the new set, as well as possibly a new attacker. You can see the Cetitan now allows us to use this special horn option, which, you know, when we're behind on prize cards, we can deal 220, which is a really solid number to be swinging with for just 1 energy attachment. This also has 180 hit points, so it's a pretty big, beefy boy that can get through some 2-prize Pokemon. It's a bit of an upgrade on the sort of Breakson package that you would previously see, because you don't have to play Quad Serena anymore. You just can play the Titan, and Reversal Energy is already good. It means we have a slightly more stable fighting type as well in the Hisuian Arcanine, which is a pretty powerful card against Arceus players as well as against Miraidon players, where that Scorching Horn does 160 and burns, but of course times that by 2, and we're bonking through stuff. It also makes Mightyena actually a far better card, not just going to be a counter card to the Mew players. You can also attach the reversal and knock out Gardevoir EXs as well, so that's kind of interesting, where it becomes a more multifaceted attacker now, I suppose. We still have the Raichu, powerful card against some Chien-Palk lists that are forced to use their Palkia, and also obviously very good against Lugia. We have Flapple, which is still just a really good all-rounder with so many abilities in the game right now. It's catching all sorts of things. And the Kirlia Gallade package was always in the deck in recent times, just to give us some more discard synergy to get rid of our Stage 1 Pokemon. But also Gallade is going to be that Iono proofing mechanism with Buddy Catch, but also with that reversal energy, we can deal that 160 damage. Gives us Psychic type coverage as well. Not super relevant, but it's just another string to the bow of the deck, and it can help protect some energies as well. You know, throw a reversal onto maybe something that you transformed into on the bench, or even just throw it onto your next Kirlia so you can rod back Gallade and get it in at a different point once again. So, yeah, very versatile. I am playing a few interesting things. I'm playing the Radiant Jirachi. Good thing to retreat into in the opening stages. You can even jet into this card now, I suppose, as well. But it also gives us a way around Duraludon. Yes, it's really copium. I know we're playing 2 double turbo energies and 1 Jirachi, so it's a very thin package. But it's what you got to attempt against Duraludon, I suppose, if you want to have any chance of winning against them. The alternative would be maybe playing like Echoing Horn in the deck and trying to bring back things and just ignore the Duraludon a bunch of times. But yeah, really not a great idea. But yeah, that's pretty much the list. I'm playing High Count of Research, the boss, the Iono. 1 Arezu, really good card, especially if you can Buddy Catch it or if you can Jirachi it. It really gets you into the game with the Curlias and then your specific stage 1 straight into the bin. And I am playing Peonia just because we play not just a ton of 1-ofs in terms of our attackers, but also a ton of important like 2-of supporters, 2-of energy cards, stuff like that. So I do like the flexibility of this card. You'll notice in the battles, there's a few different lists that I'm going to be playing. There'll be some that are higher on the jet energy count and don't have as many gift energies. There'll be some where I'm playing double Arezu and no Peonia, but I'm happier with this split right now. And there'll be, I think, even one list where I'm not playing the Pal Pad and I just play higher support accounts. So I have been experimenting with the list a lot, and this list currently really just takes the L to Lost Zone Box. And I think there can be methods to attempt to beat Lost Zone Box, where you can use a combination of Electivire and either Drifblim or Mismagius. The issue with those combinations are they require reversal energy to work, especially the Drifblim build. where you need Electivire and Drifblim both to be, you need to be behind on prizes for both those attackers to be able to work. And if the Lost Zone player just doesn't go for early cram pressure and just builds Sableye and sprinkles across your board, you have no response to that at all, essentially. And if your opponent catches on to the type of thing that you're going for, it's really bad. And even to get the Electivire to work, you need to play Canceling Clone, which is another space in the deck list, which is just, again, pretty terrible for you, I think, quite often. The only other thing that you could do is you could play Mismagius alongside Luminous Energies in a high count, just completely scrap the gifts and the jets, probably. And if you play that Luminous Energy count, you can at least use Mismagius proactively, which probably forces the opponent to start taking prizes at some points. I don't think they necessarily win a race between, like a 1v1 race between Mismagius and their Sableye, especially because you can not transform your stuff, and then once they're damaged, then transform and remove those damage counters. So you might be able to do Mismagius Quad Luminous as a combo, but other than that, I think we're still really bad into Lost Zone box, so we're still this dodge and weave deck. We're still going to be low tier, but yeah, that's my current Zoro build. Enjoy the games. If you're looking for PTCG live codes, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code OmniPoke. So let's get into our first game. Looks like our opponent is going to kick things off here. And we have a really good start. VIP pass. The deck definitely wants to go wide. We need to try and juggle Ralts and Zorua for certain. So getting as many of these out as possible is kind of the strat. Our opponent is playing Gardy by the looks of things, and they probably think they're in a mirror right now. And if you go second in mirror as Gardy, you're normally a little bit behind, especially with their start being pretty solid, getting the Mew in the active to Mysterious Tail. And we'll be playing Ultra Ball here. Happy to see the Temple of Sinnoh hit the discard pile, because that can bug out the game. That needs to be sorted on PTCG Live. So please cut your temples if you don't know that already. So not every one of these lists are going to be the exact same. I've been testing around with it quite a bit over the last few days. As you can see, there's a Basculin in this list, which is an interesting card to think about, but not something that's in my final list after the few days of testing. Yeah, ultimately, really, really good start here. I'm debating the attachment. It will go active here simply because I don't always expect my opponent to hit the candy combination. So I'm just going to attach active. Maybe some debate there for one of those searches going into Radiant Jirachi, and I retreat into it. The main justification for me not doing that is that the opponent could get the candy combo, which they have got, and then crest me, and then still get around the Jirachi, and then I'd have to retreat it again, which would be really awkward. So Jirachi's not fantastic against the Gardy players, unfortunately, so gonna stick with that. The opponent gets the early candy in, then can begin refining and concealing some cards. We do get Iono'd into a pretty reasonable hand, which is good. See a Fog Crystal. It's just gonna be for another Psychic Energy, which is always fine. See Ultra Ball now getting rid of that Psychic, and yeah, they actually are going for that early Crest. Have to imagine they'd still want to go after the active, just because it happens to have energy on now. And I do think targeting the draw power is still the priority. As we see, actually a second rare candy, one absolutely busted turn for our opponent. They got double candy into that crest, and they're getting Moonglow reverse value here. And yeah, we'll just plonk onto the active, which is fine. I think our best response is trying to get a Flapple here. Going to throw away a couple of our jets by the looks of things. I can't really make much use out of them because... oh, looks like I'm going for Drifblim, possibly. No, I definitely should go Flapple here, right? Yeah, or Kirlia is the other one, just to draw more cards. Going to reload that Ralts and keep my options open, I suppose. By doing it this way around and just having the extra draw, it means that I can react to whatever's in hand, and in this case it is the Flapple into the next Jet Energy that I find. But the Drifblim had slightly higher upside. I think taking out the Kirlia rather than taking out the Crest is completely fine. But instead we are just going to go for the Mucus, get the KO. And we are level up on prizes. So this first list was heavy on Jet Energy. I think I wasn't playing Gift at the time. Now I'm like juggling those counts a little bit more. And a few other Pokemon differences. I think this list is the one that played some of the spread tech mons rather than the Hisuian Arcanine. But it ultimately is the same strategy of the archetype. I think for all the other games, it'll be the list that I show at the start, though. We have that second Shining Arcana developed into an Iono. The good news is our opponent has a ton of abilities in play and can't really prevent that at any point, so we shouldn't have any issue trading 1-for-1 throughout the entire game. And because they have taken that first prize card, we should be able to also punish their use of an EX at any time with a Mightyena 3CE combo. Why am I calling it 3CE? It's not 3CE, it's Scramble, aka Reversal. Opponent's getting their Crest stuff done. They're going to collapse away, so it just loses a Zorua in the process. And they will deal with our draw engine again. As I do have Boss now in hand. I think it's once again going to be just a development turn here, more than likely. I'll throw away the Jet. I'm going to throw away Boss, that's fine too. Yeah, just going to continue to develop our draw power. Kind of one of the reasons that we could be in trouble would be as if we stop drawing throughout the game. We have plenty of our stage 1s that we've drawn into now, which is great to see. Going to develop our next Ralts by the looks of things. Then we can refinement, deciding whether or not it's worth using the rod before, but seeing as though we have no supporter, I think we want to do this first. At least get into energy for next turn, and we can continue to respond. Like I said, Guardi only takes one prize at a time, right? They have no spread option, they just hit hard, they don't go far or wide or take multiple threats out in one go. So the opponent is locked into a prize a turn, and we know we have ways of jumping over with either Slowbro or with Mightyena Gust. So both of those outcomes are really good. So all we need to do is just make sure we keep attacking, essentially. And the opponent now chooses to go into their EX. So we will be looking for a reversal Mightyena combo. Iono off the top is really nice. We do not yet have Mightyena in the bin. But I am going to focus on reloading some Zoro pieces. And then fire off the Iono. We actually do really nicely off that. Very fortunate to hit both the Mightyena and the reversal straight away before our refines. We did have a few more cards that we could have drawn, but still. Oops. Yeah, definitely want the Mightyena. I suppose if I had whiffed Mightyena, I still had the Drift Blim option just for a single prize knockout on the Ralts in the back, so didn't necessarily have to take the 2 prizes this turn. Like I said, it's all about just sort of keeping up. But in this case, you can see that Mightyena is not just a Mew counter, it's also very handy against Guardi. When they are choosing to take prizes. Against Guardi Mewtwo, this deck is really bad, but against regular Guardi, it's pretty okay. Let's see the VIPs hit the bin with their Ultra Ball. But ultimately, now that I'm ahead, and once again, we know our opponent can only take 1 prize at a time, and they have 4 Pokemon with abilities in play. Literally, all I need to do is keep my Zoro chain and Energy chain rolling. And the Iono has got us immediately into my next Zoro and my next reversal, so we are chilling here. There's really not much that stops us. Yeah, as you can see, this list is playing that Electivire Drifblim combo that I mentioned, and is heavier on the Jets. I think those are the key differences. Maybe slightly different support account as well. I think I wasn't playing the Peonia in this list either. So I have made some changes after playing this deck a decent amount. You know me, I'm always happy to test out Zoro. I always like to give it a whirl every new set. Even hit the Level Ball. That can thin a Manaphy. Going to grab Zorua. And then we can just make good old Flapple again. And evolve, and then just hold energy in hand, because we're looking pretty good. The opponent has to hand disrupt. Everything on their board gets knocked out currently. The biggest thing they can make is a Zacian or an EX, I suppose. That would probably force maybe Gust if they make a Zacian. Oh no, they'd be damaging it too much with their EX, so it wouldn't really matter either. Yeah, I think they're just not really left with much. Yeah, they're just playing a ton of cards before ultimately brainwaving. And we have game on board with 3 abilities already there. Energy in hand, so pretty good. As you can see, the Zoro bug is still there. We have to choose the same Mon twice. I've never tried to switch up my choice, so I don't know if that confuses the game or makes it weirder, but I always try and click the same one both times, because I don't know which one it actually registers. Alright, let's get into our next game. This one is up against Lugia. Again, we have VIP, which is really nice. Starting the Radiant Jirachi is always solid as well. The opponent starts their own Radiant with the Serena. And we're up against Lugia. Our hand's actually really, really good. I can get quite a wide board and possibly play this Ultra Ball if I want to. I could like Level Ball for some fodder cards like Flapple or something like that, based on our top deck. Raichu's another great card we want to have in the discard pile early, so happy to see that. And yeah, this is the sort of more up-to-date list. We want these Ralts. We want our Flapple to be pitched, and then we just grab Zorua off the Ultra. Seems solid to me. Yeah, really, really strong start. Reversal active so I can retreat if the opponent doesn't want to bash through us. Artazon's a really good card against Lugia because they really can't get much value out of it at all, so we will just end there. The hand's already really good, but if the opponent does have to swing through Jirachi, we're going to have a really good time. We're going to have an excellent hand. We will see the fish for Burnett. So there go the Archeops, which means probably the opponent will have to attack for Jirachi this turn, which is definitely good for us. Such a setup-heavy deck. As we are going to see the Primal Turbos coming out. Yeah, revving up Lugia, retreating out of Serena. The usual plays being made here. I'm pretty certain we definitely want to go Arezu. It's like such a big card for us. So this list was playing the double Arezu. So I've been between 1 and 2 Arezu versus 1 and 1 Peonia as well. So I have been messing around the list quite a little bit. See, I actually go for the like 5 stage 1s that I go for with the Arezu double Kirlia grab. I can straight away go into Raichu, and I have the reversal straight away. So now it is just about thinning and setup, essentially. Gonna go triple curls. We can start trading away these stage 1s. Really just thinning out the deck of all the bad stuff. Back up Zorua's here. I can even gift now if the opponent wants to Iono us back, because even though their hand size is low, they have their own gift energy that they could be activating. We can get back up Zoro ready to rumble, so I have everything I need for next turn and a gift energy on the active. So pretty much everything I could ask for. It is more tricky to get around the T-Tar. To 30 hit points is kind of chonk. I'm currently holding on to Boss Energy, though, so I could try and go for Flapple and Gust. That could certainly be a line that we look towards. Collapsed actually just removes a Kirlia, but we still have 2, so that's pretty okay. I've also thinned out a lot of my stage 1s already, thanks to the Arezu. I actually do see Iono, so nice that we got the Gift Energy. Lots of our Zoro pieces are ready to go, by the looks of things. And they actually mill Boss and Reversal, 2 really big cards for us, to be honest. Just checking out Cetitan. It doesn't quite do 230. So we're going to have to go around it. Also, the opponent was able to collapse away their fish, so our best play certainly has been taken away from us. We have another refinement. evolve. Gonna Arezu. Yeah, I think there's a couple of bits and bobs in here. I can Ultra Ball away also. Just thin out some stuff. I don't think I have any levelable targets. So I think I'll just be hitting as hard as I can with Flapple here, I suppose. Yeah. So I've wasted looks like research I'm wasting here by not knowing what's in my deck. But we'll just swing for 150. Of course, we're level on prizes, so I couldn't access any of the cool stuff. And it's just slightly more than the Raichu. The opponent can get the Healing and Cragalanche. Do us a favour by getting rid of VIP, but also hit one of our Iono. So we will be able to go down to 2 prizes here with the Flapple KO. I'm going to reload some more Zoro pieces. Yeah, that seems fine. Evolve up. Get the Iono of my own out. Yeah, making next Zorua seems fine. Don't think I necessarily need to play this next Rod, but hey, I already have energy in hand, so I guess I don't really need much else. Let's deal with the Tita. And now we're ahead in the race. And looking pretty good. Again, the opponent has 3 abilities in play, so I should be able to spam Flapple fairly easily. The measly 80 hit points is dealt with by the Slonjourner, but we do get Gift Energy activation. And I can just keep on going about my business, reloading Flapple here. Pretty happy to do that. Yeah, the time for the reversal is over because I'm going down to 1 prize, so I'll never get maximum value, so I may as well just use it while I can. Play Artazon just again to thin an extra card, why not? And the opponents shouldn't have a way of taking 2 prizes here. Yeah, so that's the Electivire Drifblim combo that I did mention earlier. It's kind of been in and out of my testing. Actually, on the ladder, I'm not sure if it's just because I've reset or that I'm like low on the ladder because I'm playing Zoroark. I haven't faced much Lost Zone yet. I think more people are trying out like how other decks were affected by the new cards more so than Lost Zone decks. So it was okay playing Zoro. Didn't have to face many auto losses, but also meant that I didn't really see the Electivire Drifblim thing in action. Opponent's going to collapse one more time. I can just get rid of that free Zorua that I grabbed. Another Iono coming in, but at this point I have 7 cards in deck and Buddy Catch on board, so I can research for whatever I need. And that's looking good. And that's going to be for the double colorless energy, so we can get the Slowbro value. You love to see it. Your alternative was I could obviously just use the Jet in hand and just Buddy Catch for boss, but this is cooler, right? You get to see Slowbro, which is always great. Into the next game, getting to go first here. Not the best of starts. I have Zorua. What's looking like a pretty painful Ultra Ball in any way you slice it. Opponent with the Chien-Palk sleeves and the Chien-Palk deck. Okay. We're going to have to get rid of Arezu here, probably, alongside this Flapple. Yeah, I think this makes the most sense. Simply make a Ralts and... I suppose reversal active, yeah. It's always sad when you see reversals being paid for like 1 energy cost, but they still do the trick quite nicely. It's actually the biggest part of the upgrade of Scramble is that you can just attach it to basics. It does make a big difference. The opponent will conceal some cards. Yeah, that early energy drop onto Greninja definitely shows their intention. We can fire off the Iono, and I can Ultra Ball for Manaphy to protect my board a little bit. I'm hoping it's difficult for my opponent to get a Gust plus Candy combination. Sometimes they play cross switchers. Sometimes they are just going to boss you straight up. But I actually go for the gift on Manaphy because I know that that's still a big target for them. So I'm covering myself via Escape Rope because I already have the rod in hand. And I'm covering just in case they do go for a Gust play and do have that high roll. So the opponent makes another Palkia. A number of multi-prizes is definitely good news for me. As we will see Baxcalibur getting ready to rumble. Powers up Greninja, does play that switch, and does actually have the boss, so it's going to go after the Manaphy. And yeah, it's not full value, but it's leaving a 1-prizer in the active, making it harder for me. Definitely makes sense. So we have a few Kirlia draws to try and get a better turn sculpted here. We do have Flapple in the bin, and there are 3 abilities out right now. Yeah, not great, honestly. I don't think I have that good of a turn anywhere here. Flapple just take the 1-prize is probably the best thing I can sculpt here. And just reload the Manaphy and research. That's probably going to be my play. Yep. Manaphy in, Flapple comes out. Reasonable for me to have rodded first, then guaranteed the Manaphy, but we do play so much Ball Search first, specifically basics in this list. That just also developing draw is obviously a big part of the deck. And I'm happier spending the Level Ball, not giving our opponent the means of maybe using Artazon for Bidoof, because they do have a low hand size right now. And I am just taking out the Greninja, so maybe making life slightly more awkward. The opponent actually Ultra Balls away their own Reversal Energy and Luminion, so they're playing with some spice. We will see the research. So now I have 4 abilities on board. Now 5, that's really good for our Flapple. Obviously the Palkia is still out of range, and they are going to Skater Spark, so I imagine they're attacking with their V-Star here now. And will try not to use their V-Star power, definitely with the Superior being played. If they don't play the V-Star power, obviously the Raichu is less effective, so it would force Boss's orders from me. Fortunately, it is in hand. Yeah, they're going to rain a ton of energy in play. I'm at least thankful that they've made Baxcalibur work quite quickly with the Super Gold. That's at least a nod to the devs. Right. Just having a look of things. I have actually prized double Zoro, so it's actually a little bit difficult for me to find Zoro here to make my boss play work. You'll see now, look, I only have 1 Zoro and 1 Ultra Ball left in deck to be able to actually get an attack in here. So I'm either looking for Peonia or I'm looking for that physical Zoro, which actually hits, which is pretty massive. Actually, so now I can Jet Energy in and boss. The other alternative was, I don't know really. I didn't even have DTE to use with Jirachi. So we do take 2 prizes. We whiff both Zoro and our Zorua that are prized. So I might have to try and Pal Pad back that Peonia. Peonia justifying its inclusion, which is cool to see. Kind of makes sense when I'm splitting up so many of the energy cards, so many stage 1s that can find their way in there. Manaphy as well. There's a lot of reason to like the Peonia. I think it does make sense. Low counts of so many things in the deck. Because we have Jet, I have the luxury of going into Jirachi here. We can trade away some stuff. And now I have the option to Pal Pad and Gallade the Peonia. So I can at least guarantee some more Zorua and Zoros. But because we're level on prizes, I still don't have a good attack because I've had to lead out with the Zorua. So I'm probably just going to flip the coins here with Jirachi. Honestly. I suppose the upside to evolving is that I still have another Rod in the deck, so I could play around it. Like, the Gust isn't that good for them, I suppose, but looks like I just hold on the Zoros, so I'm not forced into using Super Rod. Because if I'm forced into playing Super Rod, then the Manaphy goes down, then I could be in trouble, right? The way they could win is if they, like, lost zone Manaphy this turn and then set up and, like, reload their Greninja. That's the main way that I'm in trouble here. If they don't knock out Manaphy this turn, I think I'm all good, though. And looks like they can't, so I will be able to get the Entrusted Wishes going. Don't know why I grabbed the boss there. I can just buddy catch that. I suppose I'm basically at the bottom of my deck anyway, to be honest. Get rid of Cetitan, that's fine. But now it's looking fairly well wrapped up. I think the only thing I need to do now is... obviously I'm bossing this turn for the 2 prizes with Flapple again. I just need to make another Zorua this turn. So if the opponent does boss Zoroark, I still have a way of getting to Slowbro. And we can see that now with the Rod into Artazon. I can even gift the active, so I'm not worried about hand disruption. I should be able to access basically everything again next turn. So we're looking pretty secure now. The Flapple carry. With no hand disruption means we're wrapped up. I can just find the Slowbro, which I'm struggling to find for some reason. I guess I'm just making sure that it's here. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Okay, cool. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, the double DTE in the list makes the Slowbro and the Jirachi do the trick. So yeah. Let's get one final game in. See a Raichu V, and I'm fearing the worst, fearing that it's a Lost Zone deck. But Lightning Pass is a pretty poor lead for them. Going to make quite an all-in play by the looks of things this turn, where I either go Zorua and just leave myself in top deck mode, or I just retreat into Jirachi and leave myself still in top deck mode, but with hopefully slowing the opponent down from just an easy Rondo play. Okay, so it's actually Reggie, Lecky, Miraidon. There's a couple generators coming in. A Serena for a couple cards. Actually getting rid of 3 lightning energy, so gives you a good indication of what they started out with. Raichu. Okay, so maybe it's a Fluffy build, I suppose. Research off the top. That is genius. I suppose I still put the active, yeah, with energy. So it's a retreat option if the opponent wants to continue to go around it. Always want to try and get rid of your stage 1s as quickly as possible, so you have those options live. The only exception to that rule would be if you want to sort of like surprise an opponent with one. But typically you'll pitch your stage 1s before your Vips, because then it just gives you those Zoro options down the line. As the opponent now launches an Iono on us. And will they be activating this Jirachi, is the question. Gonna see Nest Ball. for that Miraidon EX. See Magnezone and then a Rondo. So yes, Jirachi is live. You can see that we have that Arcanine, definitely a good card when you are going behind on prize cards to be able to swing. I'm going to go Arezu here. So I just have access to a number of stage 1s, and I'm going to Rod so that I am respecting this Magnezone. I want to be able to redevelop Manaphy here to respect a spread play from the opponent. Can also get back Gallade in the process. Definitely a nice card to keep around. Some more Iono proofing. That's actually fairly Iono proof with refinements that stick on board, Buddy Catch, and now the Gift Energy. Is you give yourself a lot of ways to make sure you don't sort of crumble in the mid game. So we can Scramble and Scorching Horn, everyone's favourite. And actually go ahead in prizes now, thanks to that. We pick up Raichu and Jet Energy, not too shabby. The opponent's looking like they're going to try and use their VMAX here. I guess now that we've revealed our fighting type and they know that I need to use triple, or I need to use reversal to attack into it, they feel fairly safe with it. The opponent grabs their V-Star. And they will just take the response here. So I don't actually have that many good attacks into this, right? We're level on prizes. No V-Star power played. Suppose my best turn is maybe take out a Mareep if I can. Looks like I'm going Peonia here. Looks like I didn't hit anything too good. So possibly just jetting into Ralts and passing. This deck can take turns off. It's kind of what you're all about when, you know, again, your opponent only takes one prize at a time. You can at least make sure you put yourself back into reversal range. I think I was trying to take Flapple from prizes there. I think that's the card that's missing in all this. So we lost the 75%er. We see Raichu come up. Looks like we're going Gallade here. I think I'm trying to draw into my reversal so I can get a Swirling Slice in. But no luck there. So that makes that turn even more awkward. Yep, just going to pass with Gallade active. That's not ideal, honestly. But we are allowed to go behind on prizes. That's still fine, still allowed. The opponent is starting to get their Magnezone powered up. They're going to attach to Raichu, possibly just to retreat back into Regieleki. Yep, they are. And they will just take out Gallade. Now surely we have to hit our reversal. I still haven't shuffled the deck because we know what cards are on the bottom. So that's why you're seeing me not play any of these cards, because it's not deck thinning if I'm resetting the deck. Still not finding our last reversal energy. So now will Iono finally get there. So we can just go Arcanine response here. Go down to 1. And I think I stupidly take the 3 cards that I put back in with Peonia and carried on whiffing the the Flapple there. Definitely should have taken note of that. But... hey ho. Looks like the opponent's going to make another Regieleki. He's going to research. And do they have a way of dealing with this Arcanine? Or are they just going to give us the time to crawl over the line? See another Flaffy. Start to see some Dynamotors now. Looks like the zone is going to V-Star and get into the mix. Yep. But once again, we're now in Slowbro range. So we can simply dig towards our double turbo. And again, we have 12 in deck. I have research and double Kirlia developed. So it would be a miraculous miss at this point. So we should be all okay. And there you go, it's just as easy as that. We have the double turbo off the top. So I can just... once again, Twilight Inspiration, always a great late game to work towards in the deck. No questions asked, just Slowbro your way there. So yeah, honestly, some fun games today, but there were plenty where things didn't come together with Zoroark, let me tell you that much. It still walks a terrible consistency tightrope. There's a reason why the lists were changing throughout the battles, and that's because I wasn't satisfied with any individual 60. There are weaknesses to cutting certain stage 1s and strengths to keeping others in the deck and whatnot, and reasons to not clutter too much with stage 1s, of course, so you can still make a coherent list. But this is where I've got to with Zoroark. Honestly, I don't think it's that good, this format, but definitely fun. Reversal allows you to do some crazy stuff. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Cheers.